Pay attention to that elevator. It's going to be important a little bit later on in the video. If you heard of one-euro homes, you may have heard of Sambuca of Sicily. My name is Davo and I recently visited this community to see the 2-euro homes for myself in hopes to find the perfect project to share with all of you, my subscribers. If you're not yet subscribed, you want to do so because if you like this content, it'll only get better from here. If you're not familiar with the 1-Euro Home Initiative, you can find plenty of information on this subject here on my channel. I've got a whole playlist about it under the info icon in the corner of this video. I think at this point, it's worldwide news, but only a handful of dreamers have jumped in headfirst, and you're going to meet some of those dreamers today. Sambuca di Sicilia is located in the province of Agrigento. The community was organized and heavily influenced by Arabic architecture during the 9th century. Today, there's a whole section of the historical center known as the Quartiere Saraceno that evidences the origins of centuries past. Why have people taken interest in this little village of less than 6,000 people? In recent years, Sambuca has been making big movements gaining the world's attention. First, in 2016, it was named the Borgo dei Borghi. By this, I mean that they were voted most beautiful Italian town for that year. This was compared to more than 250 other villages across Italy. In 2019, Sambuca joined the 1-Euro home communities, but added their own little twist. That year, 14 out of 16 listed properties for €1 were auctioned off to the highest bidder. Not exactly a 1-Euro home, it would seem. Since then, projects have ensued, and now 2 years later, Sambuca has rebranded its initiative to 2-Euro homes and auctioned off another 17 properties. If you saw this video, you know that I'm among the group of bidders for this round, and as of making this video, we're still waiting for the results. While checking out the 2-Euro properties, I couldn't have timed it better because I was able to meet many of the bidders who won from 2019's auction. Let's get on with our content. For those of you who have never visited Sambuca, as we go through the video, I want to paint a picture of how the town is laid out. Sambuca is set up on a hill overlooking Lago d'Arancione. At its highest point, you'll find Terrazzo Belvedere. As the name indicates, it's an awesome experience to gaze out at the surrounding landscape from the terrace and witness the relatively untouched panorama. There's actually quite a few foreigners that have gotten involved already in purchasing their own properties, whether it be for moving here permanently, or whether it be to have a vacation home periodically, or just throw it on Airbnb and see what happens, okay? As you can see, I'm surrounded by a very beautiful landscape. Just down the hill from the terrace begins the historical district where you can find La Chiesa Madre and a number of the properties that we'll be visiting in this video, nestled within the alleys of the Quartiere Saraceno, previously mentioned. As the hill slopes down, you'll find a principal street known as Corso Umberto, home of a few important church sites, the weekly market, and many principal businesses. To the north side of Corso Umberto lie the majority of the residences connected by a rough grid-like network of sloping streets. Are you guys ready for some touring? We're going to start our tour on the northern edge of town and work our way up. First, I'd like to introduce you to Margherita, who volunteered her time to escort me through Sambuca. She represents the local real estate scene and helps in the sale of superior homes in Sambuca as well. This property here is one of the more expensive ones in the main section of town. We got the sun blazing in on me. With so many offers, not everyone that made an offer was able to own a 1-Euro home, but some chose to, I guess you'd say, upgrade. I just want to give you an idea of the condition of the property that we're about to tour. Margherita assisted in the sale of this home, which was sold for less than 20,000 euros. I've become pretty good friends with the new homeowner, and I know how excited he is to start realizing his dreams for this home. If only all properties could have a roof terrace view like this one. The neighborhood is pretty calm and decently easy to access. At the northern edge of town, you get nice views and can see the rural area and housing complex where victims of the earthquake that hit Sicily in 1968 were housed by the community.
There is the Trasferimento, where
Yep.
there are houses built after the earthquake of 1968.
Heading towards Corso Umberto, we pass a number of 2-Euro homes that you'll see in upcoming videos, and we find our first 1-Euro home in dire need of a renovation. A property with a lot of potential is now home to a couple of dreamers from the UK who are finally able to visit their 1-Euro home for the first time to get their plans underway. You can see it's still in a state of neglect, with part of the ceiling collapsed with pigeons being the principal patrons for the last few years.
By no means want a finished project, because Andy and I want to build the bookcase ourselves. We want to do a lot of the finishing things ourselves. We want to make the kitchen ourselves, install the kitchen. So we want you to do the plaster, the electrics, the water, the gas, you know, the things that we can't do, that's electrical and things like that. And structural. Make it pretty, and then we'll come in and do the finishing stuff.
Okay, what's your max budget at
50.
this point?
£50,000.
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe €60,000.
It was a short visit for my tour, but they took a moment to describe their property and tell me about the plans they have for turning this historic estate into their own home away from home. Though this visit was brief, I was able to spend a bit more time with some of the other €1 home buyers. You might recognize a few people at the dinner table from my past videos in Sambuca. It seems as if there is a bit of a camaraderie underway as like minds cross paths in the realization of their personal Italian lifestyles. Veramente internazionale, diciamo. One of the party guests was Meredith Tabon, who I've interviewed before. We'll be highlighting her property in a different video, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. If you can't wait, you might want to check her Instagram profile, Under the Sicilian Sun, where she shares her challenges and design choices as her dream becomes a reality. We're back in my wonderful B&B. Since I was in Sambuca for 3 days, I obviously needed a place to sleep, which moves us up into the Quartiere Saraceno near the La Chiesa Madre. Marissa is a fantastic host and even shared some of her homegrown olive oil. It was delicious. I had to buy a few liters to give as gifts back home. She has taken the opportunity to expand her space and gave me a special tour of the adjacent property, which will soon be a third unit in her B&B. Just look at that exposed stone. Beautiful. This next property will be a quick run through. Just down the street, a couple from Belgium, if I'm not mistaken, has invested into Sambuca, creating a very comfortable atmosphere out of multiple historic properties, which seems to be a common theme in Sambuca. Step 1, buy a ruin. Step 2, expand into the neighboring, not as much of a ruined property. The result? A 5-bed, 4-bath, multiple living space, semi-modern home on multiple floors with an amazing view of the community rooftops and valley below. Really helps that it's nearly at the highest point of the community.
Renovated completely because this is the only renovation because it was humid.
This is a cartoon
gesso. You know, plaster
drywall
with a space
and
with
air
the
space
original
behind.
wire,
Yeah,
the
okay.
original wall, and you have air flowing.
It's good actually.
Humidity.
Yeah, good.
So we made it.
You think it's worth it?
Certainly.
I think you made a good choice because of the view. Most of the houses I've seen are a little bit lower down there and have a few houses between, but I think your house is the first one I've seen that doesn't have anything, literally anything blocking. Though this proud homeowner didn't start with a €1 home as a base, they did extend into the property next door and spent all in just over €100,000 to realize their Sambuca holiday home. I have to give a public shout out to all the individuals who took time out of their busy schedule in order to share a sneak peek of their ambitions and how they became a reality. It's not every day you meet a €1 home buyer, and even less common is the chance you'll ride in an elevator inside of a €1 home with one. That's right, this €1 home has an elevator. Did you forget the elevator scene at the beginning? If you're wondering why, meet Shelly, one of the homeowners. Let's hear it from her directly.
Requests?
You have an elevator?
This is an elevator. Yes! Because the kitchen is on the 3rd floor. So, you know, thinking about aging in place and all of that and making it accessible.
Cool.
So, yeah, we put an elevator in.
Shelly and Masood have a love for life, and it is evident. In their remodel, they attempted to add features that coincide with Sambuca's overall aesthetic. They did a great job doing so. Let's talk about their project for a moment. Much like others have done, they started with their initial €1 home purchase and expanded into the neighboring property.
This was not the original house, so we bought up above to that room downstairs, which allowed us to do the kitchen here.
In addition to the elevator, they used natural light as much as possible by installing light wells, allowing sun to shine through to the lower floors. Just look at what they've done with the property. If I'm not mistaken, the property consists of 4 or 5 bedrooms, 4 baths, and multiple living or workspaces. They have some outdoor space on multiple levels, including their lower kitchen terrace, balconies, and roof terrace, nearly all accessible by the elevator. Between the two properties, they spent nearly 40,000 euros, but bringing it up to this current condition has cost them over 200,000. Of course, not everyone will want to install an elevator, and there are surely ways to keep prices down, but I have to say, they've really done a marvelous job on their home so far, and I can't wait to see it again when they are finished with the interior design. Thanks for watching. Watch out for the next video about Meredith's project here in Sambuca.